Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into, well, a really fascinating high-stakes scenario. Think covert operations, whispers of cutting-edge AGI.
It sounds like something out of a thriller, honestly.
It really does. Our source material for this deep dive comes from some critical excerpts titled Nightingale, Summit Infiltration and AGI Verification.
Right.
And our mission, really, for you listening, is to peel back the layers on this, to explore the intricate challenges, the critical thinking involved when you're dealing with secret, advanced AI.
Mm-hmm. High stakes indeed.
Okay, so let's unpack this thing. Our story really kicks off with a figure codenamed Canary. Now, expert, Canary is described as a high-value asset. In the intelligence world, what does that actually mean? Why is Canary so pivotal here?
That's a really good starting point. Because a high-value asset, someone like Canary, isn't just, a source. They're usually someone with critical insider access, often unique access.
Access to things you just can't get otherwise.
Exactly. And in this case, Canary is a disgruntled former lead researcher from Omnicorp, the global tech conglomerate.
Right.
And they've reached out to an embassy in Bern. And they've brought some, frankly, pretty alarming claims with them.
And what Canary is saying, it's way more than just, sour grapes from an ex-employee. They're claiming Omnicorp is secretly developing Nightingale, described as a revolutionary, self-evolving artificial general intelligence algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
But self-evolving AGI, what makes that specific term so significant? What does that really mean for its independence, its potential impact?
Well, self-evolving isn't just jargon here. It implies that Nightingale can adapt, it can learn without constant human input, without explicit reprogramming.
So it learns on its own?
Essentially, yes. And Canary alleges Nightingale has already hit autonomous learning capabilities beyond any known AGI.
Wow.
Which suggests, a level of independent reasoning, maybe rapid adaptation,
Right.
that could easily outpace our ability to oversee it or control it once it's out there.
Yeah.
Its path becomes very hard to predict.
And here's where it gets really interesting, or maybe worrying. Canary also raised this critical concern. Omnicorp supposedly plans to integrate Nightingale into global financial markets.
Yeah.
Within just 6 to 8 months. Now, this isn't just some plot device, right? This echoes very real fears about tech power concentration, unregulated AI, the systemic risks.
Absolutely. It highlights a classic intelligence problem, doesn't it? You have this potentially huge threat, this high-stakes information,
Right.
but your source isn't fully verified.
Right.
And the potential disruption is immense. How do you act? What's crucial to remember here is the evidence. Canary has provided some things, preliminary fragmented data logs.
Okay, so something tangible.
Something, yeah. They suggest the claim has merit, but the key word is fragmented. The data is insufficient for full confirmation. And that introduces this huge layer of uncertainty. We absolutely need to verify Canary. Are they telling the truth, the whole truth?
So this whole operation really pivots on Omnicorp. What do we know about this company? What makes them such a tough nut to crack for our operative?
Well, the picture painted is a tech giant wrapped in secrecy. Notoriously secretive, the source says, with robust internal security.
Like a fortress.
Pretty much. We're talking serious corporate security, making any kind of intel gathering really difficult. And another key point, Nightingale itself, the AGI, it's not at their main campus.
Oh, where is it then?
It's housed in a highly secured, non-public research facility. Apparently, it's located adjacent to their main R&D campus in Zurich, but separate.
Okay, that's a critical distinction. Direct infiltration of the research facility is off the table.
Seems like it, yeah. Too high risk. Probably impossible without a major operation.
But the source material points to something else, an opportunity, this summit they're hosting.
Exactly. Omnicorp is hosting this highly exclusive, invite-only Global Tech Leaders Summit. It's happening at their main Zurich campus convention center.
So not where Nightingale is, but nearby.
Right. And while the AGI won't be physically at the summit, the event is seen as an opportune moment, a chance to gather peripheral intelligence.
Peripheral intelligence.
Yeah, and potentially confirm some of Canary's claims without needing to breach the actual research lab.
Okay, peripheral intelligence. Let's unpack that for our listener. What kind of information are we talking about at a fancy tech summit like this? The agent isn't trying to, hack into a server during the coffee break, right?
No, not at all. Peripheral intelligence here means listening. It's about catching whispers in the hallways, observing who's talking to whom, maybe noticing unusual behavior.
Subtle stuff.
Very subtle. Picking up on off-the-cuff remarks, from Omnicorp execs or researchers. Things that might hint at Nightingale's existence or maybe how far along it is. It's like assembling a puzzle from edge pieces, from clues on the fringes.
Got it. So what does this boil down to for our operative on the ground? The main objective is pretty clear. Infiltrate the Omnicorp summit, covertly verify Nightingale's existence and stage, and evaluate Canary's veracity.
That sounds like a lot to juggle, especially with some tight constraints. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And understanding those constraints is key to understanding the mission's difficulty. First off, the time constraint. It's tight. The summit's only 36 hours long.
Okay.
And it starts in just 48 hours from the briefing time. So the agent has to get in, do the assessment, and get out all within that 36-hour window.
Wow, okay. Pressure's on. What about getting in?
For access, they have a forged invitation and credentials. The cover is a representative of a small, legitimate tech startup. Unremarkable, basically.
Oh, din.
Exactly. The goal is to blend in with mid-level industry professionals, no making waves, just be another face in the crowd. And then there are the asset limitations, the tools they have. They're limited. They get a discrete audio recorder, high-quality miniature, disguised as, a pen or a lapel pin, something common.
Okay, sounds useful.
It is, but here's the kicker. Only 12 hours of recording time.
Wait, 12 hours for a 36-hour summit? That's a massive constraint. How does that force the agent to operate? They can't just hit record and leave it, can they?
No way.
Yeah.
It means they have to be incredibly strategic, surgical almost, deciding exactly when to record which conversations seem most promising. Every minute of that battery life is precious.
Right, forced prioritization.
Absolutely. They also have an encrypted comms device, basically a secure smartphone, but it's text only with HQ, no voice calls.
Text only, so no real-time discussion if things go wrong.
Precisely. Adds another layer of difficulty. Plus, the cover identity kit, documents, business cards, backstory, they must maintain this identity perfectly. And crucially, no weapons-aggressive gear.
Ah, no weapons.
This is purely passive intelligence gathering, not an action movie, no aggressive breach planned.
That no aggressive gear rule is really interesting. It tells you a lot about the agency's approach, doesn't it? What does that signal about their goals and how they see the risks here?
It's key, I think. It suggests they're prioritizing deniability above all else. Avoiding escalation, avoiding exposure. If the agent gets caught, they want it to look like maybe corporate espionage, not state-sponsored action.
Makes sense.
But it drastically limits the agent's options if things, go sideways. It puts immense pressure on their wits, their social engineering skills, their ability to stay hidden. Not on force. It's a low footprint op.
Okay, so let's paint a picture of the environment, the local conditions at the summit venue. It's a modern, high-security corporate campus. What can the agent expect?
Expect extensive internal surveillance, CCTV everywhere, probably facial recognition at key points like entrances, lots of plainclothes security mingling with the attendees.
Lies everywhere.
And sophisticated network monitoring, definitely. Plus, remember who's attending. High-profile, influential individuals. Our agent needs to be flawless. Absolutely on their A game to fit in.
And the specific threats? The threat assessment?
It's multifaceted. First, Omnicorp Security themselves, described as highly capable, trained to spot anything unusual, any unauthorized presence or suspicious behavior.
Not just rent-a-cops.
Definitely not. Then there's a counterintelligence risk. Omnicorp knows that secrets are valuable. The source implies they might actively use counter-intel measures against corporate spies.
Counterintelligence? What does that look like on the ground for our agent? Are we talking about like hidden microphones or actual spies planted among the caterers? Or something else?
It could be a mix of things, honestly. Maybe planting disinformation, setting digital honeypots, using their own operatives to watch attendees, trying to identify or misdirect anyone snooping around.
So our agent could stumble into a trap just by asking the wrong question.
Easily. Or lingering too long near a sensitive area. It requires extreme caution. And finally, we come back to Canary's veracity. It hangs over everything.
Right, the fragmentation.
Exactly. The claims are fragmented. There's that nagging possibility of deliberate deception or exaggeration. Assessing that is part of the mission, too. It's a core dilemma, not just a side note.
So, given all of this, the tight window, the limited gear, the heavy surveillance, the uncertainty about Canary, the agent's first task is practical. They need to make a plan. An initial plan for infiltration and intel gathering. Expert, when you get a brief like this, what's the absolute first thing you start thinking about?
It feels a bit like Like you're asked to find that needle in a haystack, right?
Right.
But the haystack is also a fortress under constant watch, and your only tool is a magnifying glass with a battery that's about to die.
Yeah, good analogy.
The immediate questions are practical. First, how will you establish and maintain your cover identity convincingly? That's job one. If you don't blend in, nothing else matters.
Foundational.
Then, what specific intelligence are you prioritizing? You can't get everything. What verifies Nightingale? What assesses its stage? You need focus, and then the how. What methods will you use to gather this discreetly in that environment? That's the tricky part.
Right. And dealing with those limitations, we talked about the 12-hour recorder, the text-only comms. How do you manage that? And what's your very first move? What immediate precautions do you take the second you arrive?
Exactly. These are the crunch decisions. The agent needs to map this out, provide a detailed plan, outline those initial movements, interactions, their strategy for gathering intel.
It's a serious puzzle. Requires real ingenuity, precision, especially when the stakes are this high, a potentially market-breaking AGI locked down tight.
It really is.
And this brings us to a final thought, something for you, our listener, to chew on. In a world where this kind of cutting-edge AI development happens behind closed doors, often in intense secrecy, how do we as a society ensure any kind of transparency, any oversight for tech that could genuinely reshape the world?
Yeah, it's a huge question, and maybe more personally, putting yourself in the agent's shoes, given those tight resources, that high security environment.
Yeah.
If you could only get one piece of information on this mission, what would you prioritize trying to obtain? What's the single most critical thing to learn?